Hello, my name is Marina and I welcome you to another edition of Knights Templar International News. In the 1920s, after the failure of attempted Bolshevik revolutions in Europe, the Commintern took a long and detailed look at what had gone wrong. After all, Marx had predicted that revolution would happen as a reaction to the most advanced stage of capitalism, so the revolution should have been in countries like Germany, Britain and the USA, not in Russia. The study concluded that the workers of the West were able to get reforms through trade unions and so did not see the need for revolution. So the communists decided to switch their efforts away from the workers and attempting revolution from below. Instead, they would concentrate on recruiting young people destined to go on to become the movers and shakers of Western societies. So they set to infiltrating the teacher training colleges, the top universities, journalism and the churches and seminaries. The process was strengthened when first the Frankfurt School and then the terrorists of 1968 developed theories about the way in which popular devotion to Christian values, patriotism and tradition was a block to revolution. And that the road to revolution had to be cleared by criticizing, mocking and subverting those values and the institutions that were supposed to uphold them. Believing Christians will, of course, go even further and see that it was always inevitable that the illuminated Freemasonic origins of the communist revolution would make it especially hostile to Christianity and especially interested in perverting and corrupting it. And its dark heart, the revolution is satanic in its inspiration, so Christianity is its ultimate enemy and target. All of which explains why, as a result, 100 years later, the great churches of the West are rotting from the head down. We have seen a truly shocking example of this in the last week. The Lepanto Institute has reported that Pope Francis has bestowed the Order of St. Gregory on Lilian Plumen. Membership of this order is an honor given by popes to a handful of people for meritorious service to the Church. And Plumen is a Dutch politician and a fanatical interpretational abortion activist. The award was given to Plumen last year when she took part in an official state visit of the King and Queen of the Netherlands to the Vatican in June last year. When Donald Trump blocked federal funding for abortionists, it was Plumen who funded an organization called She Decides, which has now raised $300 million to fund abortions all over the world. Traditional Catholics have reacted to the news with horror, but the church hierarchy is so riddled with communist and cultural Marxist infiltrators and ideas that the heretical Pope Francis has wide support for this truly appalling decision. So, despite petitions to withdraw the award, this honor for a woman directly responsible for the mass murder of hundreds of thousands of innocent children will therefore stand. Nothing could better indicate the moral bankruptcy of the leadership of Western Christianity. Truly, it is sick beyond belief. And yet, from the body of the Church and among ordinary believers, there is still hope. Over the last week, a top-level Knights Templar international delegation has been in the United States. The purpose of the visit is to discuss with lawyers and financial experts the fine details of a plan to strengthen the KTI infrastructure in the USA. With thousands of members to be involved in the work of the order in the States, it is planned to put much more effort into developing a proper structure there in 2018 and beyond. And so, being there last weekend, members of the KTI's Council of Nine saw the enormous scale of the annual March for Life in Washington, D.C. They were especially pleased to note that President Trump became the first sitting U.S. president to directly address the rally, speaking live from the White House Rose Garden. Such a level of presidential support for the pro-life cause is in stunning contrast to the Pope's stance on the side of the new Herods of the West. It shows that, despite the best efforts of the Satanists, the forces of Christ and of life are also very much active in the world. On all levels and all fronts, there is in our world right now a titanic battle between good and evil. The end result is, of course, not in doubt. The only question is what part each of us mortals will play in it. Have you decided yet? Do not delay it, for great times are at hand. Deus vult.